Hello, Barry Thornton, your audio guru here for Vinyl Monkey. Michael Whitaker sends in a very complex and interesting question. He says he wants to jump into getting a record player and begin a collection. What does he need to know? What do you need to know? Most of what you will need to know, you will discover on the voyage. That's my first offering, because this is a voyage, a venture you're going on, a journey. Records open up a way to hear music in a way you've never heard before, because what comes on a record is different than what comes on a digital format. In the digital format, you've got a piece of music that's been chopped up and kind of massaged to fit inside a digital format. In a vinyl record, you've got an analog human experience that stayed analog all the way. And there may have been some digitization going on in the process, but in the end, they wound up with a vinyl disc that has on it a copy of what the sound you're going to hear looks like. So what do you need to know to play this thing? Well, okay, let's kind of real quickly go through the basics of what you're going to need to know. You're going to need to know how to run a turntable, the care and feeding of a record. This is easy. It comes in all kinds of little booklets and on the web, and mostly it's keep it clean, don't scratch it, don't do anything foolish with it. It's soft plastic. Playing a record is easy. You put the record on the disc on the turntable and put the stylus in the groove, and the music comes out. There are some little adjustments and things that go along with it, but they're kind of specialized, and depending on how deeply involved you want to get into this, or how much you're going to learn about those specialized adjustments and things that you can do. You're going to have to make a decision somewhere along the way as to how you're going to listen to it. Are you going to listen to it on loudspeakers? Are you going to listen to it on headphones? Or are you going to try to put together a system that does both? And in either case, you're going to wind up with some devices, some machinery in between the record and the speakers or headphone. You're going to have a phono preamp, whose job it will be to correct the equalization issues on the record and bring the volume up and the energy level up from the cartridge, and then a power amplifier to drive the speakers or headphones. All of that stuff you can pick up on the web anywhere in a real simple course. Not even a course, it's 2 or 3 minutes. In fact, I've described most of it. The real thing you got to learn is where you're going to go with this. And this is something you're going to discover. Do you want to pursue this, or do you want to have this as an entertainment? Is the reason for doing this to have background music, to have a form of entertainment, or have you gotten involved in and are starting to get interested in audiophilism, which is listening to music in a far more refined way, of experiencing the presence, of experiencing the soulful events that the author of the music, the writer of the music, and the conductor of the music, and the guys who played the music were all trying to put into the music. These are things that you have to learn about and make decisions. I will tell you this, there is in the business of records and hi-fi a sequence of events we notice with people who come in to start. Generally, when people start with hi-fi, they go for what we call boom boom. That is, the first thing that they really ever heard with articulation is the bottom end, so they like bass. The second thing happens after a while, after you adjust to the bass, and the bass needs now to take its place in the texture of the music. They go for what we call tweet tweet. That is the high end that starts getting good. When cymbals go from sounding like a ch to a sing, same cymbal, same microphone, different playback system. Sing. If you choose to get involved in that and you decide you like hi-fi, then you probably want to go for something that will have a good tweet to it after a while. So pretty soon you've got boom boom and tweet. Finally, there's the thing in the middle, what we call squawk. That's the sounds that occur in the middle, the trumpet sounds, the sounds of brass, the sounds that occur in the upper register of the human voice. And so when you've gone through these 3 evolutionary steps, boom, boom, tweet, squawk, you're now at the stage where you got a pretty good sounding hi-fi system. It reproduces music pretty well. Your next step, if you choose to go after it, will be soundscape. In other words, it goes from just being music coming out of a spot in space to a spot in space producing music. The difference being, one is a little narrow point, the other is a whole stage, a repertoire, what you see on the stage, what you will then hear in through the headphones or speakers. So these are the kinds of choices you're going to make as you go along, but they're not choices you have to make in the beginning. All you have to choose in the beginning is, one, some basic equipment to play it back on, and two, what's going to be the music? What's going to be the content? What's your source of records? How you treat the records? And as you build a record collection, the different genres you'll be interested in. A musical note is made up of three things. It's made up of a pitch, what frequency is it at? It's made up of an amplitude, how much of it is there? And it's made up of something called timbre. Timbre is the collection of all the overtones. And it's the timbre that gives music its quality, its distinct uniqueness. It's how you tell a violin from a flute. They both can play the same notes, so they're both at the same pitch. They both can play the same amplitude, so they're both the same volume. But each has a unique character to it, the timbre. What records do is records pass timbre along better than do digital recordings. The timbre is that feeling, is that liveness, is that thing that you participate in your mind that allows the record experience, the music experience, to become a kind of an illusion. Something that begins to fill your mind with pleasant sensations. So that's where you can wind up going. What you need to know to get there is a pathway of choosing good records, something that comes with experience and listening to people who have listened to records and say this one sucks and this one's good. The quality of the record, the audiophilism, the equipment that you have, and where you're going to listen. What I mean by where you're going to listen is once you set up a speaker system, the room becomes a participant, and you begin having to learn how placing speakers in a room makes it sound different. Not quite the same with headphones, because headphones is a private space. So what do you need to know? Okay, kind of who, what, where, when involves. You need to know it's a journey. It's a journey that you're going to participate in, and actually, for me, it was a lot of fun. For thousands of people, it's lots of fun. It may be a lot of fun for you, or you may find that you just want music in the background and you want to call it quits at that. It's your call. But I can tell you this, when you play a record through a system and you play a digital version of that same recording through the same system, you can certainly tell the difference between the recording, the vinyl recording, and the digital recording. So much so that it would be striking, and that's probably the thing you need to know most. There's a big difference in this new world you're going to be stepping into. It's a lot of fun. You will enjoy it, I'm sure, and it's something you can share with other people besides yourself, and it becomes your own personal indulgent space. I don't know how to answer it beyond that, because everything else becomes details. Details you can pick up on the web out of little booklets, doing the research that your curiosity into this is going to require that you do. And that's why it's a journey, it's a path, it's a knowledge way. With that, I wish you the absolute best. If I can answer more specific questions, I would certainly be glad to, other than to say you're going to share something with all of us who have been listening to vinyl for years, have been enjoying, and you're about ready to open a fantastic door. Michael, I wish you the absolute best with it. Do not hesitate to ring me back or type me back and with any kind of other details that you may have or any specific questions. But in general, sally forth. Go have a good time, because that's what this is all about. Good luck, my friend.